This is Kirk.
Oh, there he is.
Hey, this is Byrd. It's the Kirk Byrd Show. Man, we are excited to have, we are blessed to have two of the best college coaches in the country. We are blessed to have with us Coach Keith Parr, the coach of the today's national championship. CNU Softball won the 2022 national championship. Thank you for joining us, Coach Keith Parr. We also have Coach Harvell, coach of the men's baseball team at CNU, and they made it to the regional finals. We're going to talk about that. Two guys who grew up in the 757 right on the peninsula. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having us, for sure.
Right.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Coach Parr, how excited are you? A national championship. 40 was it 46-1?
47-1. It's
47. 23
game
winning streak.
I would have lost a lot of money if anybody said we're going to go 47-1 this year. I would have put everything I had on that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how does it feel? This is 2 years in a row. So Christopher Newport won women's soccer last year, national championship, and then this year you've got softball, and we know John's going to win it in baseball with the way he's recruiting. Just tell us how you feel, and all the fans out there, how it was in Salem, and the role you've been on.
It was a phenomenal environment today. We had alumni there, obviously parents, friends, family. Some of the men's tennis team came, the women's basketball team came. So we had a lot of student athletes that made the 4-hour trip there. There was it felt like a home game and then some. So it was nice to be able to get out there and play some great softball in front of all them. And like I said, it felt like a CNU home game for us, which added to the excitement and the energy that we had out there.
Right. And I take it you were there last night?
We've been there since actually Wednesday.
That's right. Okay.
We had our practice day Thursday, and we played Friday, bad weather Saturday, and then we played Sunday, Monday, and today. So
Coach, it's amazing, Rusty, but I'm looking at your roster and I don't see many seniors.
Yeah, we do have 7. So we have a roster.
7.
Yeah, we have a roster of 26, and then 7 of those are seniors, and that group of seniors were phenomenal and led the way in so many ways, on and off the field. And in all 7, the great thing is being able to do that and experience that all 7 were starters too. So obviously key contributors and getting it done and get to go out on top.
Yeah.
Man, that is great. I'm gonna tell you something. I am a huge CNU fan. Having grown up, I lived in Hampton and Newport News, and I've just seen that school grow. I don't know if you've seen us. We've interviewed Lamont Struthers, Lee Martin, and I'm so proud of what CNU has become. My dad and my dad actually, when he got out of the military, moved back to Newport News, and he had a home on Shoe Lane for about 15-20. They kept trying to get him to sell that house, and he held out and he held out and he held out, and finally they sold and then bought a big old house in Farmington. So it worked out. But for you, when I would come home, we were on CNU's campus, and now when they sold that house, they tore it down, and you've got some nice buildings there now. But I'm very proud of the program. Every time, like, I coach youth track, and we've had some state track meets there, and then I've also assisted and brought my kids to the Hampton Roads Youth Foundation football camp they've held at Christopher Newport. And every year I've gone back, I am just amazed and I'm proud. Like, look, I have people that on my coaching staff with me when we're down there, and I have a friend who went to Michigan State, and I'm telling him, I'm like, this campus is the bomb. This is nice. He's probably like, dude, I went to Michigan State. But I'm saying I went to VCU, and to see something as beautiful as Christopher Newport's campus, the success you guys have had. I mean, I'm a big fan when CNU brought on football. The track program has always been dominant. And then just to have two local guys as head coaches. I'm just extremely proud, guys. I feel like this is one for all of us. But you and the Kirk Byrd Show is blessed to have, you right here tonight, Coach Parr. Well, I know you probably, had a lot of things you could have done, but you given us some time, so I appreciate that.
I definitely want to take the time with y'all tonight. I was saying earlier, I had dinner with my son, and my wife and daughter will be coming back from a couple hours away from her softball game. So, hopping on here with you and Coach Harvell, makes it a great cap to the evening for sure.
Yeah. Well, we know I asked you before we went on if you were going to sleep well tonight, and you said you were going to sleep very well. But why don't you take a minute to talk about your team, a special team, obviously, with that record. Ooh. You've got seniors, and I'm looking at your roster, and it's just amazing that the Christopher Newport that we grew up with, that little regional school, I'm looking at, you've got people from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You've got, all over the country. It's pretty amazing. I think you've got 7, 8 young ladies. Yeah, 7, 8 young ladies.
New Hampshire's the furthest.
What's that?
The New Hampshire's the furthest. She was actually great state player of the year in New Hampshire, and a couple from New Jersey, a couple from Maryland, and CNU CNU is a very attractive, I think, to a lot of the Northeast student athletes. So we actually have 2 young ladies coming in next year from North Carolina. They'll be first 2 from south of us, basically, a southern state. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah. So why don't you talk about your assistants and the young ladies, and just this is an opportunity to, give them some praise for an unbelievable season. I know that Christopher Newport has a rabid fan base. It's huge up here. I mean, the CNU stickers, man, they're right there behind Virginia Tech and JMU. So tell us about your coaching staff and your team.
Well, I feel I've got the best coaching staff in the nation. I think they've been able to prove it this year. 2 are former players of mine. One that actually played and was a senior on our first national championship run, where we came and finished up 3rd in the nation. She finished up in 2010, and my full-time assistant is a recent grad of just several years ago, and went and did 2 years of grad school and was a graduate assistant up in Vermont, actually. And my other assistant, who's been with me actually the longest, Wayne Vick. So it's Mary Kennedy and Savannah Couch and Wayne Vick. He's been with me and helps run the infield, and our young pitchers that dominated this year, helped them kind of get over the hump with some things and really have outstanding seasons. And they carried us through the postseason and did a tremendous job with, especially being 2 freshmen. And our team is, and I don't use the word special so much with anything, but they are phenomenal and such a special group. It's, unless you've been around them all year, you just don't really know how unique, especially when you have that big of a group of 18 to 22-year-olds, and we had a couple 5th-year seniors that came back and utilized that extra year, and just how drama-free it was, and how fun and exciting, and how hardworking they were, and how determined they were. It's just, I couldn't have imagined it for the season to go this way. Even if we would have lost, down the stretch or whatever it may be, just having this group and how special they are, it's, couldn't have dreamed it. No doubt about it. It's going to be hard for another team to go through a season like we have and not have any issues, not have any drama, not have any of those things to worry about, and for all of them to be on the same page and determined and believe in themselves and trust in themselves. It's really, that's my biggest thing. And winning a national championship is, obviously a big goal for all of them and all of us. But for how they did it this year, I don't know if there's been another team in the nation that has done it the way they have. Yep. And that's what I think what made it even more rewarding and just at the level that they performed on and off the field to be able to accomplish this was so. I'm trying to think of the word, but I think to put it simplified, it's almost impossible for that to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it happened. So
Oh, yeah.
the only thing that would be better is to win another one. So
We're gonna try.
hey, but you got it. It's a lifetime achievement, and I know the fan base has been fantastic. Now, school's out. Are you?
Yeah,
I take it you guys will plan some type of celebration though.
Yes, I mean that's the tough part about it. I mean everybody's kind of away from school right now, so
Right.
that's the last thing I kind of told them on the bus. You know, the great thing about it is we know we're going to be able to come back together as a team and do it for a special reason, a special occasion. And CNU goes above and beyond with a lot of that. And we'll have to try to find a date in the fall and try to make that happen and bring everybody back and, you know, and honor it at the level that they're, that they
With all the students
have
have.
earned, obviously.
With that ACC like basketball arena, and I'm not joking around, it's unbelievable. But real quick before you go, because I know you being a national championship coach and the fan base, is CNU's booster club the captain's club? What's your booster club? We want to overlay it for the fans.
I think there's a couple different layers to that as far as whatever the fundraising and donations. What the athletic department does, what the school does in general. There's a number of different ways in which, basically funds are raised over the course of the year. So, you got the President's Club with all that as well. And so there's just a number of different things between what an individual program will do, the athletic department will do, and what the school will do in general as well. So, fortunately, we do have a lot of support, and, if we need some things, and, we're pretty much taken care of from a budget side of things. And, everybody has to raise a little bit of money for the extras. So we're able to do that when the time comes. And, we want our student athletes to have the absolute best experience that they can, and we try to provide that for them.
All right.
Coach, I just want to wrap this up by asking you a little bit. So again, I'm proud everything Virginia, everything 757. So I want to know a little bit more about your schedule, because you went 47-1, but didn't you played Virginia Wesleyan about 3 times, and they've won 2 national championships in the last couple of years, right? So
Right.
Is the softball that strong in Virginia? I don't know if you guys are you in the same conference, or you're not in the same, but you still just played them?
Not in the same conference, but same region. And obviously it makes sense for us to play each other during the regular season. And I had somebody interview me after the games at Salem, right after the games were done. And they did ask about that as far as, Virginia softball and why the success and being able to win some national championships. And obviously Division I softball in Virginia is really good too. And they've had some very good recent success. And the short answer was yes, Virginia softball is really good. And, we're fortunate, and it's very competitive in Virginia, and the Division III level is very competitive. And Coach Harvell can attest to that as well. Even within our region, baseball is really, really good. It's a hotbed, and it's really grown in recent years to where it's highly competitive. And the Division III level, it's tough. It's tough recruiting. It's tough competing, and I think the bar is raised and expectation levels raised, and everybody wanting to do so well and compete against each other, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. I just wanted to close with this, Coach. I know, in terms of, I've told people for years, CNU is such a gem in terms of academically, the standards are all, a lot of people, that's like a prestigious school, for a state school in Virginia. The academics are tough, and it's a pretty campus. But I say about sports, I tell people all the time, I'm like, CNU is a gem in that it's a Division III school in the state of Virginia, and it's a public school. Most Division III programs, athletic programs, they're private schools. So that's even a little harder in terms of the finance. I mean, they find ways to find money at the private schools, but you guys are a public school. So the tuition and And if they're in state, it's already going to be a little cheaper. So I'm always pushing athletes that I've coached over the years to look at CNU, for whatever sport, because I'm like, that's like when you're comparing it to some of those private schools, that's like partial scholarship, like that in-state tuition is like a scholarship.
Right. Well, Coach, before we let you go, the kids on Instagram and the way they do things is like they'll tell each other, hey, we're at 1547 in this. So at the 1547 mark, I just want to give a shout out to your seniors. So we've got, and correct me, we got Sarah Proctor from Louisa County. We've got Caitlin Abernathy from Prince George, Virginia. We've got Carolyn Helmer from Hickory, right there in the 757. We've got Western Branch's Caitlin Hasty, and keep going down. Let's see, Bailey Roberts from Hickory. So you got a couple from Hickory. I think he dropped off. It's okay. But anyway, shout out to the seniors. It's okay we dropped Coach, but congratulations to Coach Parr, National Championship. John, thanks for coming on, man. I know you just got back from a season. There he goes. You're sideways, Coach. What I did was I was telling it about the 1545 mark. I mentioned all your seniors.
Yep, I'm back on. Sorry, I had a call coming in. I pushed the wrong button.
That's okay.
That's
For
okay.
those that are listening, I'm outside of a restaurant right now on my cell phone, so it's not.
Yeah, we're not on network TV, so
most professional way. But
you are sideways, by the way. But look, there you go. Yep. So what we did is we just called out all your seniors at about the 1545 mark. So we definitely want to congratulate you and looking forward.
It's a phenomenal group, and we a couple All-Americans in the mix, and Caitlin Hasty, who's from Chesapeake. We announced that she's having her number retired today, so she's one of the select groups. Her number 27 is going to
from Western Branch High School.
Oh yeah, her number 7 is not going to be ever worn again, and at least as far as CNU softball goes. So she 3-time All-American and home run record and all that. I mean, hit a big grand slam for us this weekend too. So all our seniors, like I said, were key contributors, and a lot of our, all conference, all region. So it's going to be a group that is definitely missed.
All right. So for Caitlin and her family and everybody, number 27 is not going to be worn again ever at Christopher Newport. That's pretty special. So
the good thing is we were able to announce it in front of the team, our parents. We kind of had a little gathering right before we got on the bus, and
man,
so it was pretty special.
Man, it's gonna be nice going into work tomorrow. All right, Coach.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
I think John wanted to say something.
Oh, yep.
I was saying that Caitlin's dad played with me at CNU.
Yes, he did.
Oh, wow.
Both her parents are CNU alumni.
All right, captains.
Starting to get those legacies. Starting to get that
Coach,
legacy.
I know you got I appreciate you coming on such short notice and being a part of the program. We're gonna have to get you back. Like we're gonna talk to John, and we'll kind of profile him a little bit, talk about his program. But maybe you can come back with Caitlin, and we can just talk about what a little bit more about your her number being her great career and this season. So we'd love to have you back on in the next couple of days or weeks, whatever works for you. But thanks again. And so when you look back on May 31st, 2022, and people say, what great thing happened to you that day? You'll say, I was on the Kirk Byrd Show and we won a college softball national championship in that order.
That is right.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you all. And Coach Harvell, have a good evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow, and go CNU baseball too.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
God bless.
Thanks,
have
Coach.
a good night.
Y'all take care.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
So, Coach Harvell, let's get to your season. You went deep into the playoffs, had a very good year. Tell us about your team.
It had a great year, Kirk. It had a great year. It wasn't a good year.
An awesome
year. It had a great year.
And you're reloading. We know you're reloading. So you had a trip to Ohio, and I know you got camp starting like next week, Coach?
2 weeks I do. Yeah. My first
Okay.
one.
And they're filling up, right?
They are fast.
Now, where do people need to go to sign up for your camp?
It's at captainscamp.com.
Okay. So we'll put that on there. Captainscamp.com. So you'll see that right now. And then you got 3 camps, correct?
We have 3 youth camps, and then we have our elite camp, which we hold in August. And the neat thing about that camp is that, for one, we restrict it to only 85 campers, and we also bring in 4 Division I coaches to help run it. So you don't necessarily have to be interested in CNU, but some of the schools that we've had in the past are Radford University, we've had Old Dominion University, we've had George Mason, VCU, Norfolk State. We actually got a team from Maryland this year, Mount St. Mary's up in Maryland. Yeah. So we try to mix it up and bring in 4 different coaches each year, and just make it a little more appealing to the kids that are interested in other schools than CNU.
Okay. So,
believe it or not, that's a huge recruiting weekend for us.
Oh yeah.
We had kids from anywhere from Florida to New York that come to that camp. And so we don't, obviously at a Division III level, have the budget to get out and see them play. So we're real fortunate to have those kids come to our campus and perform in front of us. And then, of course, showcase campus in our field when we have available to them.
Right. Well, you've got a real draw also with the Hampton Roads area, the beach, Colonial Williamsburg, all of the things, the Busch Gardens, and it's a pretty easy trip down there from the Eastern Seaboard. I see you had a senior from Christian Brothers Academy, great sports school up in New Jersey. But tell us a little bit about your very, very, very good team that you had this year, the journey, your seniors. I believe you had
not many,
Coach.
Not many. We probably had 6 or 7 seniors. Of those, 3 of them started. And the pitchers, and unfortunately, one of those seniors was hurt, so he didn't get a chance to throw this year. So, the nucleus that we have coming back next year is something to be real excited about. We went into the season feeling like our pitching was going to really carry us, and for the most part, it did. But after we went down to Charlotte and played in the D3 Showcase, where we played Marietta, right, and we played Stone from Pennsylvania, who was also in the regionals this year, and also in the regional finals in their region, and Washington Lee, which we didn't get to play because of rain. We went to Myrtle Beach for a week for our spring break, and we actually lost our number 3 pitcher for the year, which happened at the end of February, March. So we lost him early in the arm injury. So we were sort of scrambling. So losing him did not help at all. So we had to have some other guys step up, and we actually lost our closer from last year who went down with Tommy John. Oh, we did lose some key parts during the season, but we did have some guys step up. The really, I guess, neat or special thing for us in getting in the regionals this year is that we got another large bid, and those bids are very far in between. And so you're looking at a possible 60 bids, 45 of them, I think, or 42 of them are automatics. So there's only like 16 or 17 at larges in the whole country out of 400 teams. And so the way we scheduled this year and the strength of our schedule, because we opened up down in Georgia against Birmingham Southern, who was in the super regionals this year, and a team out of California, Cal Lou, who was also in the regionals. We opened up against them. So our strength of schedule is really what carried us into the regionals, and it was the reason we did get a bid, because now with the conference that we're in, we don't have an automatic bid. So we have to be a little bit more creative in how we schedule to make sure we put our team in the best position possible to get that at-large bid.
Okay. All right.
What conference is that, Coach? What is your conference now?
It's the C2C. And the
coast to coast.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is that there's only 3 baseball teams. When we started the conference, which was known as the Capital, there were 10 conferences. I mean, there was 10 teams. And since we've joined, it has dwindled for whatever reason. I will say 3 or 4 of those teams that left our conference won the conferences they went to and made it to the region.
Okay.
So, I mean, I get it.
Right.
But, you know, with the success we've had and the success that Salisbury University had, who is going back to the World Series this year, who won the national championship last year, there are not a lot of teams playing that league.
Right.
So we got to do the best we can with what we have. And so far, we've made it work a little bit.
Okay. I was looking up the conference, and does your football team, do they have football in this particular league?
They do not. Our football team, ever since when we left the USA South, went to the Capital, which does not have football. They joined the New Jersey Athletic Conference, the NJAC.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
As associate member for football. So they've been a member of that league for some time now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
Coach,
go ahead, Rossi.
go ahead, Kirk. Okay, well, I was just going to say, I got this.
Hey, we don't have a studio, man. We don't have anybody we do this all the time. So, all right, you said I could go. Beauty before age, right? I think one of the things, John, or Coach Harvell, is that you're in the biggest market without a professional sports team. And Rusty and I did a podcast on the best sports towns in the United States. You can look up our podcast, The Kirk Byrd Show, and we'll overlay all of our social media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're all over the place. But that is a sports crazy place. You've got a great school. It's absolutely beautiful. I don't know how they made those buildings look that old, by the way. It looks like Harvard or something. It's a great degree. And, you know, you've got a place down there that it's a sports crazy town. I mean, you know, football, basketball, baseball. And, you know, when I think about, in Salisbury, you got to go over to the Eastern Shore. Those kids are like, I mean, you're in a highly populated area. It's a beautiful school. Every kid I talk to up here loves it down there. The parents love it. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Right? So you're in a leadership position. So I'm going to ask you a little bit of a tricky question, but I'm not trying to trick you.
Okay.
What do you think CNU's path is? Because the money's been pumping in there for a while. We all know that with what Senator Paul Tribble, President Paul Tribble has done. It's been unbelievable. When do you think CNU may take the jump and go to Division II?
Right. Well, my personal opinion on that, and, you know, I get that question a lot.
Yeah, I gave you a softball. It wasn't hard.
We are, you know, CNU, and I am one of a handful of people that can really appreciate where the school is from where it was, considering I played there. And when I was there, it was known as CNC.
Right.
And I have transformation. I mean, when I got the job in 2000, that school was intact from when I was a student there. And the enrollment as a commuter school, it was 5,000 kids. And today, it's still 5,000 kids. And that's strictly by choice.
Mm-hmm.
When I was there as a student, if you were breathing, you could get in. But now you got to be able to breathe, read, write, walk. You got. But to question, you know, we as coaches always sit around and we talk about that. And, you know, personally, I don't think D2 would be an option. I mean, I'm not saying it will never be an option, but if you think about it, when they got rid of the Carolina-Virginia Conference, which was Longwood and allow all the D2 schools when they were D2, there only D2 schools that are in the state now are the CIAA. And then your next D2 option would be down in Carolina. And the majority of those schools are deep in Carolina, all the way down to South Carolina and Georgia. So from a logistical standpoint, I don't know if that's feasible.
Right.
Obviously, you know, coaches, we talk all the time, you know, D1, what about D1? And, you know, having my son played at Longwood, I was able to follow him for 4 years. I always feel like if CNU were ever to make a jump, the Big South would be very comparable. I mean, from a
D1,
facility standpoint,
right?
I know our facility at baseball wise, right? A lot of those schools' facilities.
Yeah.
From an enrollment standpoint, we're right there.
Right.
Academic standpoint, I want to say we're right there, if not higher than most. So, I mean, I think a lot of it's going to come down to money as far as how about applying for Division I and, the years you may have to sit out. So I think there's a lot of more pieces to the puzzle than saying CNU has all this money coming in and they can do it. I wish it was that easy.
Right.
Because I think the conference we're in right now, we as coaches, especially the ones who don't have an automatic bid now, we're finding it a little tougher to schedule teams because they don't want to play us except on a certain date, which I understand. I got to do what's best for my guys and schedule when I can.
Yep. Okay.
So I'll never say never. I'll never say never as long as President Tribble's there. And I know he's retiring this year, but I think he's going to be a chancellor, so he'll still be around. But, President Tribble is the sole reason we're in the position we're in now.
Right. Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah.
John, Coach Harvell, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to, you've done an outstanding job. So you've been at CNU for 20 years?
22nd year.
22nd year. Wow. And you've done some great things over this time. Can you, and this was a great season, over this time, can you tell me from your perspective as the head coach, some things you've seen change or grow, or just some of the greatest accomplishments or things that you're very proud of over this 22 years?
Well, I mean, when I first got the job, I always felt like CNU baseball could win. Having coached high school locally, I'm plugging my phone in. Having coached local and being able to play the Northern Virginia schools when I was a high school coach, I saw the talent. And, I just had to figure out a way to get them to believe that they could win and compete with the best of the best. And so when I took the job, that was my main goal, is to let them know I'm here to win. I'm here to win now. I'm not here to build a program. We're going to win in 10 years. We're going to win now. And fortunately for me, the kids bought into it, and we were able to win the school's first conference championship my first year. And then from then, It just snowballed. And I always joke about it. I think I set myself up too high too quick, because my second year we ended up going to the World Series. And then my third year we went back to the World Series and lost in the national championship game. So I was like, maybe I'm doing this a little too quick. But again, I'll be the last to take credit, because I've been real fortunate to have a lot of great players, and they're the reason that CNU baseball is where it is nationally, because of them.
So, Coach, you've got a senior class that has been, is it your winningest senior class? I read it the other day. Your wife put it on celebrating the seniors, Emily.
Not sure. I don't think so, because I know in 2011 and 12 and 11, we had won 27 straight. And in 12, we went to the World Series. I think they're one of the most successful ones, but I think we've had some other 4-year groups surpass them in the wins. And I think COVID hurt a lot. And
they saw you get married too at the park.
They did. They were actually in the wedding.
Well, right. So what year were they, Coach?
That class, let's see, Jonathan Fisher was in it. I want to say 18, 19, 20. They were freshmen.
Okay. All right. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. So this is the last class. All right.
We've talked about CNU, but the reason I call you John is because I have been around you for probably 40 years. We played in the same youth program. I thought we played on the same team, but we didn't, and you got me straight on that. But Coach, tell us about your growing up. My man J.C. Hall, who was on the show, mentioned your father, but so I know you played football for Sanford, but you were also folks, y'all don't know this. Coach Harvell was a beast athlete back in the day at Menchville High School. For real, like that's why, I mean, I had friends on some of those teams, but let's talk about how you got started in sports and then your great high school career. You were a 3-sport athlete, and then you even played football. When you graduated, you played football in college and baseball at Howard Division I school. Tell us about how you got started.
Well, like you said, I actually did play at Sanford, though. I was there the same time you were. And I started playing there at an early age. And my dad was a big fan of sports growing up. And he had an opportunity to play in college as well. And so I was introduced by him. And, of course, back then there weren't any AAUs. So you played what sport you played during that season. And so I was a real active kid. So my parents got me involved in basketball, baseball, and football. So, as the seasons went, that's what sport I continued to play. And, I was real fortunate enough to be able to play them in high school. And, I thought about when I went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to go to college and do. Basketball was always my favorite. I mean, I worked harder at basketball than I did anything growing up. The only problem was I was only 6'1" and I couldn't jump over a cheese sandwich. So, but I could.
You can shoot though.
You can shoot.
So I really love basketball. And then, obviously my first offer came with football. And so I went to Howard University and played football for 3 seasons, and I played baseball there as well. And then I transferred to Christian Newport, where I played basketball and baseball again. So, I feel real lucky to have been able to play all 3. Sports really motivated me and helped me get through school because, like a lot of athletes, some of them don't go to school to play school. I went there, to play sport. I was fortunate enough to get a degree in education, and I was a teacher for 9 years before I got a job at Christian Newport. So, it's always been a part of my life. And when I got out of college and I was teaching, I was actually coaching in some shape or form, whether it be an assistant coach or a head coach at the JV level, all 3 sports, because at the time I still didn't really know which direction I wanted to go into. And then in 1996, when Woodside High School opened up,
I saw, you started that program.
The baseball job opened up. So I think that was what pushed me towards baseball. So I always tell everybody, I worked the hardest at basketball. I ended up getting a football scholarship, but now I'm coaching baseball. So none of it makes sense.
So you got to work with Coach Talon,
I did.
Yeah, and we're still very good friends. A great guy, one of the best coaches ever. In girls basketball as well as softball. So, because he was at Woodside. And were you the first varsity coach? Did you start?
I was.
The program? Okay.
I started the program there in 96, and we started without a senior class.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little challenging. But again, with that group, I didn't let them use that as a crutch. I said, look, you're here to win, and we're going to win. And, our first year, we were one win away from the regionals without a senior class.
Wow.
Right.
And so, it's just, I guess I've been fortunate enough to be around kids that were willing to listen, willing to learn, and excited about the situations.
Right.
Coach, what year did you come out of Menchville?
I came out in 86.
I thought 86. So you played with Ray Savage and Luther Jenkins.
Well, Ray
and all those guys.
Ray Savage was actually at Warwick.
Right.
So unfortunately,
I'm sorry.
I had to feel him hit us.
Coach there. That's right. That's right. I'm sorry. Ray Savage coached at Menchville these last few years. Right. He played at Warwick. That's right.
You played with my big boy that went to Virginia Tech, Baird Kilpatrick, who's one of the best people you ever meet. Wasn't his dad the principal at Ferguson?
And then he was at Menchville.
Yeah.
Baird and I grew up in the same neighborhood.
Yep. He's down in North Carolina. I think he's a farmer. We communicate via social media, but you know, that Menchville, you had some tremendous athletes. Basketball, football. Didn't they win a national championship in baseball in the last 10 years?
Well, they did with state, and I guess their unofficial, I guess whatever they have, the USA Today put it out. They had a great group back in may have been like 09, maybe.
Right.
Ethan Carter. They were very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that program, baseball program, has been very good for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, but when I was in school, I mean, you know, basketball, baseball, football, they were all very, very good. I mean, you know, of course, back then it was just the Peninsula District, and just the winner went to the regionals.
Right.
So it made that much more difficult.
Yeah.
We had a great year.
Yeah.
My senior year, we finished 7-3, and that was the end of our season. So, I mean, you know, that times have really changed as far as the playoff system goes.
Who won the baseball your senior year? 85 and 87.
We tied Ferguson High School for the regular season championship. And so we had a 1-game playoff for the team to go to regionals because there was no tournament. And Ferguson beat us.
Wow.
Sam Rose, Menchville?
Sam Rose was Menchville, and then he transferred to Ferguson his senior year.
Jay Krissick?
Ferguson. Yep.
Tim Krissick was his older brother, played basketball.
And baseball. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just trying to remember.
So
they were really good.
you played against my man Blair Wood at Bethel and Theodore Johnson, two class of 86 guys.
Theodore was that year.
I played against Theo growing up through the little leagues, and I'm telling you right now, when you saw him on the mound, you better be prepared because that ball was coming. He could flat throw it.
Yeah,
he had like two or
we're
three
gonna get Theo on the
hitters.
show. He had a couple no hitters.
Yeah, that's what
year.
I remember talking to him, and I was like, "If you get drafted, are you going to go in the draft, or are you going to play basketball?" Because he was a tremendous basketball player. He's like, "I'm going to go in the draft," but I know he did end up playing, I believe, basketball at Norfolk State, because we've talked to him about coming on here.
I think he played baseball there as well.
Okay, yeah, great athlete.
Oh yeah.
So did you? John, I just want to say I lived in Denby for 2 years. We lived in Courthouse Green, and I played that 1 year at Sanford. We moved in a little late to play my 7th grade year. But one of the guys I looked up to at Denby, and tell me if you knew him. I know you probably played against him, but like one of my, again, I'm just a couple years behind class 87, but Billy Webster at Denby was like a god to me. Like that little Sue at the corner of Denby, right in front of Courthouse Green. I remember one time I was playing Miss Pac-Man and Billy Webster came in with his Letterman jacket, and I was like, Billy Webster, he was the man. And then I went to VCU and he was there, and I was like, dude, you're Billy Webster. Tell us about Billy Webster.
Billy was a couple years older than me, but like you, I grew up watching him. He's one of the best athletes to ever come out of this area. I mean, he could do it all. And he was, I want to say I was probably a freshman when he was a senior.
Senior, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But he was
okay.
He is up there, one of the top athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Coach, we pride ourselves on covering high school sports. I mean, Rusty went to Colgan tonight. Colgan won. We know that you've got an exciting young kid, Brandon Cassidy. I saw him play, and we're going to continue to watch them play. But Colgan won tonight, and they're in the state tournament. And I know that you've got a really good, you know the state pretty well. So let's just take a minute at 44 minutes and talk about Virginia State baseball. So in Division 6, we've got Colgan. They're in the state tournament. I believe Ocean Lakes won today. And then tell us about that Division 6. We've got, obviously a lot of teams from up here.
Yeah.
We don't need to know just Division 6. Can you just tell us about some of the strong programs in the state?
Right.
It doesn't have to be Division.
Because I think
Menchville
Division 4 team.
Well, and I'll tell you, I because since I've left Woodside, I couldn't tell you who was in Division 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up with because apparently they're able to go up and down from year to year.
Down. Yeah.
So I can't even keep up with it. But yeah, I mean, in the past, in Northern Virginia has always been the elite area with baseball. I mean, obviously the beach is always very strong, the South Side Chesapeake area, and the Peninsula will put together some good teams as well. I'm actually going over to War Memorial Stadium tomorrow night to see Menchville play and see Nansemond River play. And so
that's right, Nansemond River.
My assistant coach is actually up in Richmond tonight. He had gone from Lee Davis over to Deep Run to see a couple kids that we have coming in. So, we're definitely out and about watching these state and regional games because this is the time that we can actually get out because during the season it's just tough. But like you said, Colgan, who actually, on a side note, Mike Meadows, who's assistant coach there,
right,
played at CNU.
Okay.
He used to be the head coach at Garfield. He used to be the head coach at Garfield.
That's right.
And Mike and I are good friends, and I know he's over there at Colgan now with Coangelo, and they put together a great run this year. And of course, you got the James Madisons in Vienna, who's always really good, and Oakton have had their years, and West Springfield as well. So, and Osborne, and then Potomac when Mike Covington was there, he had a great run. So that's the thing about Northern Virginia. There's so many good teams, and it varies from year to year. So, I mean, but that's just the nature of it, and that's why it's so competitive up there, and that's why traditionally the majority of our kids come from that area.
Yeah. I'm just looking at in Division 5. I didn't get the scores, but it looks like Independence and Riverside, which is where I was tonight, but Riverside was at Brook Point down in Stafford County. Independence was at home, and they're the defending 5 champions, by the way. Independence.
Yep.
Rusty and I both.
That school's only 3 years old.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
They were amazing in basketball. They got eliminated. A lot of people thought they were going to win the state tournament. If you know the Bowdens from Pocosin.
Oh yeah.
My college roommate Alan, his son Christopher, was on the state championship team last year, and he's a freshman at Virginia Tech.
So he's at Independence.
He's at Tech now, but last year he won it. They won it. Independence won a state championship.
He was at Independence.
5.
Oh wow! Oh wait a minute. But what about? Is that the one that played on the Little League? That's not the one that played on the Little League also.
Coached the Little League. Christopher, you're thinking about Michael was the one that played Little League that had the great catch that made the Sports Center highlights.
Yeah.
So, now he's got 3.
Is he in high school? Is he in high school now?
So the oldest who won the state championship with Independence last year just finished his freshman year at Virginia Tech.
Okay.
And I believe their son Nicholas is a junior, and Michael, I believe, is an 8th grader.
Okay.
They're baseball. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I know he's taking kids down to your camp also.
So. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Chad Hicks, who played at Ferguson, his son was on that Little League World Series team. Really good ball player.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm not sure what high school he's at up there. But yeah, he came down to our camp.
Yeah. So he's basically their Independence and a lot of Freedom South Riding, which you've got like 3 kids on your roster.
I do. I got a couple coming next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got Colgan, you got a player. So now for the state championship, are you staying down there, or are you going to be able to, where are you going to be for the state championships?
Depends who's playing where.
Right.
My assistant coach will be one place, and I'll be in another place, and my assistant will be in another place. So it just depends who's playing where.
Okay. So
because
5 and 6. Right. So 5 and 6 are up here.
Okay.
6 is at John Champ, which is right off of Route 50.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 is at Riverside, which is in Leesburg. Unbelievable athletic facilities. Yeah.
Yep.
If you come up here, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. We'll
So
grab some food.
so I want to go ahead and start to we'll do this part where we kind of wrap up, but we let our audience know a little bit more about you, Coach. Just outside necessarily of, we know you're the coach, you were an athlete, but tell us a little bit more about yourself, like outside of sports. What is something that you like to do to kind of relax, get away? Is it watching a baseball game? I mean, like that would be me. My wife is like, all you do is sports. But what do you do in your downtime?
Well, obviously, I like to play golf. I don't play as much as I used to or like to, but I tell you one thing that I've actually really enjoyed lately just is my wife has got me involved in these Netflix series, which
we were going there. Let's go. Yeah.
I just, I never really thought I would be able to sit down and get into something and binge watch. But she has got me involved in some good ones, in Ozark and The Last Kingdom, Peaky Blinders. I mean, there's been some really good ones. So, I enjoy doing that now. I don't think she really enjoys me asking every 5 minutes, what was that? What do you mean? Who was that? But it's enjoyable. And, we just bought a house down here on Chesapeake Avenue, and, just sitting out front, looking at the Chesapeake Bay is just relaxing. And, I just really enjoy being around home a lot because I do athletics quite a bit.
Right.
Downtime of not having to be around that, and I always make a point after a game, win or lose, when I come home, it stays at school. My wife gets more upset about the losses than I do. But I tell her, I've been coaching for 22 years and I've coached in all about 900 games. So I've lost quite a few. So I guess I know how to handle it, but it's not fair. I mean, I would never take it out on anybody. And usually within an hour or so, I'm over it and I'm ready to move on to the next one. So, that's just my personality. I'm really easygoing, laid back, and I'm a coach's coach. I'm a player's coach. And, I want my kids to succeed. I don't want them to feel pressured that they're going to the field and make a mistake. They're coming out the game, because I feel like the more relaxed they play, the better they play. And so that's my demeanor towards the guys. And, I'm the same way at home.
Well, Coach, I will say this. That's good to hear that you're like that, because you can let it go. I can't let it go sometimes. But the good thing about baseball is you don't have, like football, you'd have a whole week to stew on it, or at least start preparing. And, baseball, 1 or 2 days later, you got to go again. So that's a good thing. But in terms of those streaming things, bro, with COVID, that's when I got into it, because I'm stuck in the house. That's what did it. Like, I had all these friends say, oh, you got to watch this, you got to watch this. And I was like, oh man, I don't have time for that. But, I was coaching and my church. But once COVID, I'm just sitting there like, and Tiger King started it all.
Oh, God.
You are not lying.
You watched that?
First thing
you
I've
really
ever
watched that.
That's the first thing I've ever binge watched.
Yep, same here.
I didn't do Cobra Kai.
COVID did it for me. I mean, that's what got me started doing it.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, for my wife and I, we could, we would watch some shows together, like regular TV, but now, like, it's actually an interactive thing. We'll watch some of these like mini series. There's some maybe about 6 or 8 parts. It'll be a mystery, and so my wife and I get in that so we can interact with it. We're not just sitting there, but we're kind of like taking. My wife is taking notes. Who do you think did it? And so that's a time we spend together. We're like, hey, what do you want to watch? What do you want to binge? So we've learned to make that fun instead of, because we like some television, but now we're like really into it, and it's easier because our kids are older, and we don't have to run around as much. And I know Kirk's going to have a question, but along the lines of Netflix, we also like to ask about movies. Do you have a favorite movie, and is it a baseball movie, or do you have a favorite baseball movie and something else?
Actually, I do. For the Love of the Game has always been one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been one of my favorites.
Right.
So I love sports movies, of course. So if I had to, my go-to one would probably be For the Love of the Game.
Yeah.
Okay.
With Ray Liotta passing for years, Goodfellas was my favorite movie, and it was overtaken by Remember the Titans. But, the role that he played in Field of Dreams is another one. Great movie that came out. I was like summer of '88. I remember that. That was summer of '88. It's funny how you remember stuff when you're younger. Now you have no idea what year came out. So, okay, Coach. So you got your camp starting up. You're going to be on the road, and you're reloading. You got some great players coming in.
Absolutely, and I'm excited, and I'm ready to get started now. So, I've started getting to get kids' class schedules, and we're getting them started, and I can't wait till the fall starts.
Yeah. Well, Coach Colangelo, the Brandon Cassidy from Colgan. I mean, he sings his praises. We've got if people want to check it out, we've got an interview with Coach Colangelo. I'm not sure what episode it is, but they could check that out. But look, John, I got up at 3:30 this morning, so
actually,
it's a grind, man. But we love doing this. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you back on. Hopefully, we can see you next week. State championships.
Yeah.
I got a dash down to.
I'll know if I head that way for sure.
Yeah.
Love to meet you.
Found out I have to go to Nashville next Thursday, but I'll be back because the games are, I believe, Friday and Saturday. State championships the 11th.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Would love to see Menchville do well, obviously from the PD.
Yeah, they're young here. They're young. They got a good group, but I think they're about another year away before they make a serious run.
Right. And I'm not sure about 4, but there's some really good teams up here in 4.
Oh yeah,
and Richmond. So, but thanks for coming on, Coach. And again, if anybody's watching, please subscribe to us. We'll overlay, and we'll put your captainscamp.com because you're about to sell out.
Yeah.
And we're proud of you, man. I mean, CNU's got it going on. So
I appreciate the mission, and doing stuff like this doesn't do anything but help all of our programs down here at CNU for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Coach. And look, we want to help you. Look, everybody out there, listen, you can now NIL, you can get some of these CNU softball, baseball players. You got a business down there. Look the kids up. Like it's got you. Why not have
absolutely?
Louis. I mean, do a commercial for you. Anything like it. Support these guys because they're making us proud.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny. We need to get off of here because we're at like almost an hour. But maybe that's for another time because I see some golden opportunities for NIL for those kids to make some money because they're bringing money in.
Oh,
but
no
that's
doubt.
a separate one. So, Coach, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you, Rusty.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on, and we'll be excited. We are going to get there next season. Check you out. We'll probably be down there.
And we'll be up that way next year. We got Marymount on the schedule up there. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Good.
Okay.
All right, Coach.
All right, man.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Take care.
Again.
Kirk Byrd Show is out.